No one teaches you this. Not school. Not your father. And definitely not the women themselves. Yet, you're expected to know how to lead, how to protect, how to understand what she secretly longs for without her ever saying a word. Miss it, and you'll be labeled clueless. Get it right, and you'll awaken something powerful in her. Not just desire, but devotion. Today, we're going deeper, past the surface games. Beyond the smiles and mixed signals, we're uncovering 13 unspoken things women crave from men, the things they feel but will never admit out loud. And if you absorb even a few of these, you'll no longer chase connection. You'll become the man she quietly hopes for. This is the Stoic spirit, where we don't play games, we master them. Let me know in the comments. Which of these truths did you already sense, and which ones surprise you? 1. Saying don't worry. I got this. Sometimes, attraction doesn't begin with how you look. It starts with 5 simple words. Don't worry. I got this. Not shouted. Not bragged. Just calm. Grounded. Certain. It could be while changing a flat tire, making a reservation, handling the check, or stepping in when something breaks down. To most men, it seems ordinary, but to her, it speaks to something ancient in her nervous system. Security, not the kind that comes from money or dominance, but the rare kind when a man doesn't hesitate under pressure, when a man brings stillness to her chaos. Even strong, capable women crave this. They might never say it, but there's a deep relief when they don't have to carry everything. When you take initiative, she breathes easier. That's when tension fades. Walls come down, and trust begins. Why? Because at her core, a woman feels most connected when she feels most safe. This moment isn't about ego. It's about presence. It's about a man who doesn't flinch when life demands action and who doesn't need applause for it. From a psychological standpoint, this kind of leadership regulates her stress response. Cortisol drops. Oxytocin rises. She feels more bonded to you, not because of what you said, but because of how you made her feel. So the next time you sense hesitation, stress, or uncertainty, don't wait for her to ask. Just handle it, not to impress her, but because that's who you are. A man who leads with calm strength. A man who doesn't just say, I got this. He lives it. Drop a comment. Have you ever said those 5 words before? What happened next? 2. Open doors. Some actions speak louder when done in silence. Opening a door is one of them. It's not about tradition. It's not because she can't do it herself. It's because you chose to lead without being asked. It's a quiet signal. One that says, I notice you. I make space for you. You're safe walking beside me. In a world where most men are distracted, rushed, or self-absorbed, being the man who notices small things makes you unforgettable. And no, it's not about gestures for approval. It's about the way you move naturally, effortlessly with presence and awareness. When you open a door, you're not just removing a physical barrier, you're communicating leadership. You're the kind of man who doesn't walk ahead blindly. You walk with intention. You consider the world around you. And she feels that before she even realizes it, this subtle act carries weight. It triggers a deep response in the feminine mind, not because she's weak, but because you're steady. You're showing without words that you don't just take up space, you create space. Psychologically, This reflects protector energy. A man who clears the path, who stays aware, who acts without fanfare. The door is just a metaphor. What matters is the habit behind it, the instinct to make her world lighter, without expecting recognition in return. This isn't about being polite. It's about being intentional, because true masculinity doesn't need to announce itself. It reveals itself in the smallest, most consistent choices. 3. Offer to fix things before we ask. There's a kind of strength that doesn't shout. It notices, it moves quietly, and it solves. A woman may never ask for help outright, not because she doesn't need it, but because she's grown used to doing it all herself. So when a man steps in, without being prompted, it lands differently. He doesn't wait for a request. He sees what's off and acts, not to impress, not to dominate, but because he knows order matters and he knows how to restore it. It could be as small as fixing a loose cabinet, resetting the Wi-Fi, or tightening a squeaky door hinge. But what she sees isn't just the task. She sees capability. She sees reliability. She sees a man she can lean on when things get heavy. You're not just around for fun or affection. You contribute. You add structure to her life. This is what psychology calls provider energy, the quiet masculine presence that offers without needing to be asked. It reflects competence, stability, readiness. Biologically, this kind of presence speaks louder than charm. It doesn't create excitement. It creates trust. Because when you consistently fix the little things, you're showing that you can handle the big things. Not with noise, but with calm attention. When she says, "The drawer's stuck," you don't say, "Do you want help?" You just stand up, walk over, and fix it. Not because you need validation, but because that's what strong men do. You don't wait to be asked. You anticipate. You act. And then you move on. That's the kind of man she won't forget. Not the loudest, but the most dependable. 4. Cook for her. It's not about the recipe. It's not about being a chef. It's about showing her something real without needing to say a word. When a man takes the time to cook, he's not just preparing food. He's making space. He's creating a moment. It could be something simple. Eggs, pasta, nothing fancy. But when it's done with thought, with a set table, quiet music, and calm intention, something shifts. Before she even tastes the food, she feels it, the effort, the presence, the message, that you stopped, that you planned, that she mattered enough for you to care in the quiet details. It's not about impressing her. It's about honoring her. In a world full of shortcuts and noise, effort is rare, and because it's rare, it resonates. Psychologically, effort signals investment. It says, "I'm not here for convenience. I'm here with purpose." A man who cooks not to perform, but to provide, is offering something beyond the physical. He's offering presence. He's showing she doesn't have to ask to be seen, or beg to be prioritized. And that creates safety. The truth is, women don't just respond to gestures. They respond to intention. And when a woman feels chosen, when she feels safe, and when she feels important, she opens. Not because of the food, but because of what it meant. Sonu. You don't need a 5-star kitchen. You need 5 minutes of sincerity. Because, in the eyes of a woman, a man who prepares something with his own hands often gives more than a gift. He gives presence. 5. Give the right kind of compliments. There's a difference between flattery and observation. One fades, the other lands. Anyone can say, "You're beautiful." It's easy. It takes no thought. And over time, it becomes noise. But when a man sees the details, the way she pairs strength with softness, how her words carry precision, or the quiet confidence in her posture that lands deeper. Because now, it's not just about how she looks. It's about how she lives. You're not praising her genetics. You're recognizing her choices. And choices say more than features ever could. That dress, she picked it. Her perfume, a reflection of how she wants to be felt, not just seen. Her humor, a product of how she sees the world. When you compliment the intentional, you validate who she is, not just how she appears. Psychologically, this builds connection, not instant attraction, but earned intimacy, because when a man pays attention to the unseen, the carefully chosen, the quietly crafted, he sends a rare signal. I see you, not just the surface, the self. In a world addicted to fast praise, precision is power. So next time, look deeper. Instead of "you look nice," try, "you speak with clarity." Most people never reach. Or "your presence is steady." It puts people at ease. Words matter, but attention matters more. When a woman feels seen for something she chose, she doesn't just remember the words. She remembers you. 6. Give us your jacket. She says she's fine, but the wind says otherwise. Her arms are crossed tighter, her voice steady, but her body speaks the truth. Here's the test. Most men fail. It's not about the jacket. It's about whether you notice. She won't ask for it. She's not trying to trap you. She's watching to see if you read the room or just hear the words. When you quietly take off your jacket and place it around her shoulders, you're saying something much louder than "Are you cold?" You're saying, "I see you. I anticipate you. I've got this." Psychologically, it touches something primal. Not because she's weak, but because you're strong enough to cover her without being asked. That moment, it rewires her perception of you. It makes her feel seen, protected, cared for. Even independent women crave that silent reassurance, the kind that comes not from talking, but from presence, and it lingers. That jacket moment becomes a memory. She won't tell you, but she'll tell her best friend. She'll think about it on the drive home, and maybe again when she lies in bed. You didn't just warm her skin. You proved you're the kind of man who acts before being asked. That's what she remembers. 7. Forehead kisses. It's not about flowers. It's not about expensive dates or grand declarations. Sometimes, the smallest gesture carries the deepest weight. A kiss not on her lips, not on her body, but on her forehead. That simple moment, it speaks volumes. It tells her, you're safe here. You're seen. You're more than desire. While the world chases passion, this kind of kiss slips under the radar and goes straight to the heart. Why does it work? Because it's not about lust, it's about presence. A forehead kiss feels protective, intentional, pure. It's the kind of gesture that asks for nothing yet gives everything. Psychologically, it releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that builds trust. But more than that, it tells her without saying a word, you're not just a body. You're someone I value. And that's rare. Most men think power is loud, but the most unforgettable moments often come in silence. The next time you're saying goodbye, or holding her in stillness, lean in. Don't explain. Don't announce it. Just place your lips gently against her forehead. Let the moment speak. No drama. No seduction. Just presence. She may not say anything, but that kiss, it will stay with her. Long after the night ends, long after words are forgotten, because that wasn't a kiss of possession, it was a kiss of respect. And deep down, that's what she was really craving all along. 8 unexpected gifts. Forger diamant. Forget grand gestures on Valentine's Day. The truth is, the most unforgettable gifts don't come on cue. They arrive in silence, when no one's expecting anything. You want to make a woman feel deeply seen. Don't wait for her birthday. Don't wait for an occasion. Give her something when the world gives her nothing. It could be a flower you saw on the way home, a note left on her pillow that says, "Thought of you today," or a silly little souvenir that reminds you of an inside joke. It's not about value. It's about timing. Because the gift doesn't say, "Here's something expensive." It says, "I noticed you," even when you weren't around. That's what imprints you in her heart. Psychologically, this kind of surprise creates emotional anchoring. Her nervous system links you with joy, with laughter, with unexpected lightness on an otherwise ordinary day. Over time, she doesn't just remember the gift, she remembers the way you made her feel. She doesn't compare you to other men, because you weren't trying to impress, you were simply present. So next time she's drained, drop by with her favorite drink. Text her a meme that only the two of you would understand. Buy that weird little thing that made you think of her, not to win her over, but to remind her, "I see you, I remember you, and you matter." That's the kind of man she won't forget, because in a world full of performance, you became her surprise moment of truth. 9. Say, "I love you." Let's get real for a second. Saying "I love you" isn't just 3 words. It's vulnerability. It's risk. It's leadership. And most men hesitate. They wait. They analyze. They look for the perfect moment that never arrives. Meanwhile, she's right there feeling it too, but terrified to say it first. You see, women are emotionally strong. Yes, but when it comes to saying "I love you" first, it scares the hell out of them. Not because they don't feel it, but because they fear rejection. They fear being too much. They fear giving their heart to someone who won't protect it. So instead, she drops hints. She shows up. She replies to your messages. She laughs at your jokes and lingers in your arms longer than necessary. She's hoping you'll lead, because when you do say it first, something powerful shifts. You give her emotional permission to drop her guard. You make her feel seen, not just liked or desired, but chosen. And that's what women crave deep down. But here's the psychology behind it. When a man says "I love you" first, he demonstrates emotional strength. It shows you're not ruled by fear. You're not waiting to be validated. You're choosing her, boldly, without guarantees. And that courage, it's deeply attractive. Now, I get it. What if she doesn't say it back? What if she's not ready? But let me ask you this. Is silence safer than truth? Is holding back helping you build intimacy or keeping you stuck? Because if she's still present, still calling, texting, touching, smiling, there's a good chance she's already feeling it. She's just waiting on your cue. So stop rehearsing. Stop hesitating. When your heart knows, say it. Because real men don't play emotional games. They lead with truth. 10 more foreplay. Here's the truth most men never hear. If you want to ignite a woman's body, you must first awaken her mind. For men, arousal is like a light switch, instant and direct. But for women, it's more like a dial, gradual, emotional, and layered. It's not just about physical touch. It's about how you make her feel before the moment even begins. That's where foreplay comes in. And no, we're not just talking about kissing or touching. Foreplay starts with attention, with eye contact that lingers a second too long, with the way your fingers graze hers like you're memorizing her, with your voice when you whisper something that sends chills down her spine. It's the anticipation, the mental build-up that creates obsession. Neuroscience backs this up. Dopamine, the pleasure chemical, spikes not during the climax, but in the waiting, the teasing, the not quite yet. When you slow down, you give her space to feel safe. And when a woman feels safe, she opens physically, emotionally, psychologically. This is what most men miss. They rush, they skip, and in doing so, they miss the one thing that makes intimacy unforgettable: emotional connection. True foreplay is psychological. It's how you say her name. It's how you undress her with your eyes, long before you ever touch a zipper. It's your hands moving like she's the most delicate secret you've ever held. And here's the twist: when you focus on her pleasure first, something flips inside her. She wants to give back, not out of obligation, but because you've awakened the nurturer in her. She becomes addicted to pleasing the man who truly sees her. So take your time. Slow it all down. Don't just go for the finish. Make the build-up unforgettable. Because when you master mental foreplay, you don't just become her lover. You become the man she can't stop thinking about. 11. Dress and groom properly. Let's clear something up right now. Women don't expect you to look like a movie star. They don't need six-pack abs or designer brands. But they do need to see that you care, that you respect yourself enough to show up looking sharp. It's not about vanity. It's about presence. Clean clothes that fit right. Shoes that aren't falling apart. Beard trimmed. Nails clean. Hair intentional. It's not about flash. It's about effort. Because grooming is one of the most powerful non-verbal messages a man can send. It says, I take care of myself. I have standards. I'm disciplined. And women notice. When you walk into a room with good posture, clean lines, and quiet confidence, you stand out. Not because you're loud, but because you're intentional. Here's the truth. You expect her to look good. Right. You want her to smell nice. Wear perfume. Dress with effort. So why shouldn't she expect the same from you? Grooming is mutual respect. It's how you say, I value myself, and I value being seen with you. And there's more. Women subconsciously link grooming with emotional maturity. A man who looks put together, he signals that he's responsible, focused, maybe even relationship ready. Even something as subtle as scent, it's powerful. Scent memory is one of the strongest forms of recall in the female brain. A great smelling man leaves a permanent impression. It becomes a signature. She remembers you in moments, in places, long after you've left. So take 10 extra minutes each day. Polish your look, shape your energy. Because the man who grooms with intention doesn't just look attractive, he feels grounded, present, reliable. And in a world of chaos, that kind of man is unforgettable. 12. Say no. You want to know one of the most overlooked traits that women find magnetic? It's not muscles, not money, not charm. It's the ability to say one word calmly, clearly, and without apology. No. You see, most men think being agreeable will make them more likable, that saying yes to everything she wants will make her stay, but it doesn't. In fact, when a man can't say no, a woman starts to lose respect. Why? Because deep down, women crave strength, and nothing says strength like having boundaries. When you say no without fear, you're not rejecting her. You're showing her who you are. A man with standards. A man who isn't afraid to walk alone. A man who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. And that is rare. And rare is attractive. When a man says yes to everything, it doesn't feel kind. It feels weak. It feels like he's hiding, afraid of rocking the boat, afraid she'll walk away. But women are not drawn to fear. They're drawn to conviction. A man who says no when he means it creates emotional tension. Not drama, but the kind of tension that builds respect. Because when you disagree with her respectfully, you show her that you're not trying to control her. You're controlling yourself. Psychologically, this taps into something ancient. Women are wired to seek out protectors, not pleasers. And protectors don't fold under pressure. She may act annoyed in the moment. She may test you. But deep down, she'll feel something she hasn't felt in a while, safe. Because when you stand firm, she knows exactly who you are. And more importantly, she knows you won't disappear the moment things get tough. So, next time you feel pressured to agree, pause, breathe, and if it's not right for you, say it. You don't need to yell. You don't need to explain. You just need to be grounded in your truth. And remember this, a man who says no from a place of clarity becomes unforgettable. He's not just liked, he's respected. 13. Flirt more. Flirting isn't just for first dates. It's not a phase. It's a pulse. The rhythm that keeps attraction alive, even after the commitment, the routine, and the years. Most men forget this. Once they've won her, they stop seducing her mind. But the truth is, every woman, girlfriend, wife, or longtime partner wants to feel desired, not just loved, desired. She wants to feel like you still see her, that you still chase her, not out of need, but out of choice. Flirting is how you say, I choose you, again and again. But it's not about cheesy lines. It's about energy. It's the way you hold eye contact, the way your fingers linger just a second longer, the way your voice lowers when you lean in to whisper something bold, playful, or a little dangerous. Flirting isn't just fun. It's biochemical. When done right, it triggers dopamine, the pleasure chemical, and just like a good addiction, she wants more. That's why flirting isn't optional. It's emotional oxygen. Without it, passion, suffocatus, connection fades, and she starts to wonder if you still notice her at all. But when you flirt like it's day one, even if it's day 1000, she remembers. She relives that spark, and she falls for you all over again. So don't stop. Not because you're insecure, but because you're intentional, because you understand that attraction doesn't die. It just gets lazy. And a Stoic man doesn't let desire go numb. He sharpens it. He feeds it. He plays the game not to manipulate, but to awaken her feminine spirit. Flirt often. Flirt well. Flirt with presence. And she'll never want that game to end. Now that you've seen the 13 secret things women crave from men but rarely ever say out loud, what will you do differently? Remember, this isn't just information, it's insight. And insight only becomes power when you apply it. Every point you've heard today wasn't about manipulation. It was about awareness. About becoming the kind of man who doesn't guess how attraction works, but understands it. A man who no longer chases approval, but commands respect. A man who doesn't try to impress her, but invites her into his world through grounded presence, inner control, and emotional intelligence. These aren't gimmicks. They're reflections of masculine strength when it's calm, clear, and unapologetic. So whether it's saying no without guilt, showing up with intention, or flirting like it's the first day, even after years, remember this: the smallest act, done with genuine energy, carries more weight than grand gestures done from insecurity. If you're still reading this, or still thinking about that one point that hit home, it means you're already becoming the man who stands out, not just because he looks confident, but because he feels it deep in his bones. Now, if this video gave you a fresh perspective, if even one idea sparked something real in you, then do this. Like the video to help it reach more men who need this truth. Subscribe to the Stoic Spirit so you never miss a new insight. And comment below, which of these 13 shifts will you start with today? Because the truth is, women don't want perfection. They want presence, and a man who understands that becomes unforgettable.